10 Fastest Military Aircraft in the World. This won't be a video about Fast and Furious sacking, but you're not that far off topic. Today I want to tell you about the fastest military aircraft in history, 10 models that shatter the sound barrier and transform speed into a weapon. Before I begin, I would like to clarify two things. The first is that this list will go in ascending order until you reach the fast plane. The second and more important is that you will see that I will repeatedly talk about Mach, and you might want to know what the fuck that means. Well, Mach is a measure of relative speed based on the relationship between the speed of an object, in this case, an airplane, and the speed of sound at which its object is moving. It's a term widely used in aviation and you may have heard it in movies like Top Gun. That said, fasten your seatbelt, because things are going to get fast. This is Jorge Robles speaking, welcome to the moment. Number 10. Eurofighter Typhoon. Developed by a consortium of defense manufacturers, the Eurofighter Typhoon is a multi-role fighter that has been adopted by many countries, including the United Kingdom, Germany, Saudi Arabia, and Spain. The Typhoon did not enter production until the mid-1990s, and is still being built today. The aircraft has demonstrated and continues to demonstrate great viability in all climates. It has been battle-tested during operations in Libya, Iraq, and Syria. Its engines allow it to generate a maximum operational speed of up to 2,470 km per hour. That, my brother, is a lot of speed. The Devil 16, currently the fastest car in the world, only reaches 558 km per hour, so you can get a sense of the Typhoon's speed. And remember, we're talking about the slowest on this list. The Eurofighter Typhoon's combat performance compares to the US F-22 Raptor and F-35 Lightning II. Number 9. Mig25 Foxbat. The MiG-23 Foxbat is a Soviet combat fighter built to replace the earlier MiG-21 Foxbat. It was certainly an improvement, as the aircraft was built with a much more powerful engine and variable sweep wings that could change variables such as speed, takeoff time, and landing time. Those who have flown the aircraft say it is one of the best-built fighters and is relatively easy to fly and handle. The aircraft entered full service in 1973. The MiG-23 Foxbat's engines allowed it to fly at an impressive maximum operational speed of 2,500 km per hour. Once the aircraft were ready to fly, they were widely used by the Soviet Union, as well as Hungary, Poland, Bulgaria, East Germany, and some other Warsaw Pact allies. Countries such as Cuba, North Korea, India, Egypt, Syria, and others also have owned MiG-23s. The Israeli military also uses a simplified model of the Foxbat. Number 8. Shinyang J11. Our journey continued in the Far East, more precisely in the People's Republic of China, the land of dragons. The J11 is a twin-engine single-seat fighter developed in the 1990s from the legendary Soviet Su-27. The J11 inherited the speed and power of its Russian predecessor, using two turbofan and Lyulka AL-31F engines, enabling it to reach a maximum operating speed of 2,500 km per hour, equivalent to Mach 2.35. The future of the J11 is uncertain. China is expected to build a modern variant, which is equipped with in-house manufactured engines that could alter the model's acceleration capabilities. For the time being, its place on the list of the fastest military aircraft is assured. Number 7. Su27 Flanker. The Su-27 is a single-seat aircraft powered by two huge Saturn Lyulka AL-31F turbofan engines designed in the Soviet Union in the 1970s, which allow it to reach a maximum operating speed of 2,500 km per hour or Mach 2.35. Initially, it was conceived as the Soviet competitor to face the large US fourth-generation combat aircraft. But thanks to its speed and advanced aircraft, it was also able to accommodate area superiority, interdiction, and even sortie missions. It is a complete aircraft that became the backbone of the Russian Air Force, with the Su-27 Flanker being the base platform for such as the Su-30, Su-33, and Su-34, and even for several Chinese aircraft. Both Ukraine and Russia would have operated the Su-27 Flanker during the invasion of Russia, Ukraine in 2022. Numerous statements confirm that both sides claim military victories by previous Su-27s and shoot-downs of enemy Su-27s. Number 6. F-15 Eagle. The F-15 Eagle has the quality of having been developed as a direct response to another high-speed aircraft, the MiG-25. When Washington realized what the Soviet aircraft was capable of, it became alarmed and launched a project to maintain Uncle Sam's area superiority. The result was overwhelming. The F-15 Eagle is one of the most successful modern fighters, with more than 100 confirmed aerial victories and no combat losses. These explain part of its astonishing speed of close to 2,575 km per hour at high altitude, equivalent to Mach 2.5. The secret lies in its two Pratt & Whitney F100 afterburner turbofan engines, but it is also its aerodynamic design that allows it to take full advantage of that acceleration. With nearly 1,200 units built and an operational history that places it among the best combat aircraft built by the United States, the F-15 Eagle's place on this list was virtually assured. However, the F-15E Strike Eagle is its most modern version and constitutes the backbone of the U.S. Air Force, capable of reaching 3,017 km per hour. Strike Eagle aircraft are in service with Ultra-Sea customers such as the Air Forces of Saudi Arabia, Singapore, Israel and South Korea. Number 5. F111 Aardvark. Aardvark stands for Aardvark, an inappropriate name for an aircraft whose main characteristic was precisely to innovate both in airframe and powerplant design, in order to reach incredible speeds. The General Dynamics F111 is an all-terrain aircraft. A sort of Swiss Army knife, capable of performing tactical strike, interdiction, bombing, reconnaissance and electronic warfare missions, all at a brutal 2,655 km per hour top speed, that is, Mach 2.5. This anteater relied not only on its TF-30P-100 engines, but also on its variable geometry rooms to achieve controlled acceleration. It was initially proposed as a fighter. Over time, it adopted deep penetration capabilities into enemy territory armed to the teeth, with a lethal combination of air-to-air and air-to-ground weaponry. Since its entry into service in 1977, it has become one of the most attractive unlimited assets aircraft of its generation. If you ever wondered why there were so many variable geometry military aircraft in the 1970s and 1980s, well, the F111 is the main reason. Number 4. Mig31 Foxhound. The Mig31 Foxhound was designed by the Mikoyan office as a replacement for another of its jewels, the MiG25 Interceptor. This with the objective of providing a state-of-the-art machine, capable of carrying out an infinite number of attack operations, area interception and tactical escort of bomber aircraft. This in its combat missions beyond the country's borders for extraterritorial and exospheric air operations. The result was one of the fastest and most impressive avoidance aircraft introduced during the last stretch of the Cold War. Its maximum operating speed was 3,000 km per hour, or Mach 2.83. This speed is achieved thanks to its two turbofan engines with afterburners, Soloviev D-30F6, which provide the necessary thrust to carry missiles and bombs. Its success was immediate. Soviet pilots fell in love with the MiG-31's robustness and speed, and the Kremlin industry responded by producing more than 500 units that are expected to remain in service until 2030. Today, the Mig31 Foxhound remains one of the mainstays of the Russian Air Force. Number 3. North American XB-70 Valkyrie. The next military aircraft takes us right into the heart of the Cold War. One of the most incredible eras in military aeronautical development. The XB-70 Valkyrie was the prototype of the P-70 supersonic nuclear bomber, which never materialized. Its fuselage was enormous, with a length of 56.6 meters and a wingspan of 32 meters, which translated into an empty weight of 93,000 kilograms. To give you the dimensions of an F-35, it looked approximately 17 meters long, just a fraction of the length of the XB-70 Valkyrie. So how did such a beast move? Well, with 6 General Electric YJ93 GE3 turbojets, which allowed it to reach a maximum operating speed of 3,309 km per hour, or Mach 3.1, at an altitude of 21,000 meters. You heard that, 3,309 freaking kilometers per hour. This would have allowed it to elude most interceptors, the only effective anti-bombing weapon at the time. Although it was a prototype, its first flight occurred in 1964 and it was in testing for 5 years, when it was withdrawn due to the loss of interest in the project, giving more emphasis to the development of ballistic missiles. Number 2. MiG25 Foxbat. The Soviet-era Russian industry makes another appearance, and it's no surprise. Since Soviet times they were spearheading innovation, and many of those advances were reflected in the MiG-25 Foxbat, and those of you who are military aviation fans are sure to have heard of it. The Soviet interceptor reconnaissance aircraft has a maximum continuous speed of 3,200 km per hour, that is, Mach 2.83. According to unconfirmed reports, it can actually reach a maximum operating speed of up to 3,600 km per hour, or Mach 3.2, but with serious risk of engine damage. Proof of Soviet ingenuity is that this aircraft has bionics composed of vacuum valves, which sounds like old technology more appropriate for a grandfather radio than a combat aircraft. But these valves respond better to high temperatures than solid-state electronics, which allows the MiG-25 Foxbat to be fully operational, even with high mechanical stress. This aircraft was designed in the 60s, put into service in 1970, and remains active to this day as the fastest and most productive Russian aircraft, with a total of 1,190 units built. This is key, since in terms of operability and production it outperforms the first place exponentially, so there are serious arguments to postulate it as the best interceptor of all time, although that is another discussion. Number 1. Su27 Blackbird. If you are interested in combat aircraft, surely you already had in mind that the legendary State Route 71 Blackbird could appear in the first place, is that the military aircraft designed in the hangars of Skunk Works, the space division of Lockheed Martin, is capable of reaching an impressive 3,540 km per hour, which is equivalent to Mach 3.2, at an altitude of 24,000 meters. This is equivalent to going from New York to London in approximately 1 hour and 54 minutes. That speed was made possible by its twin-turboreactor, continuous afterburner Pratt & Whitney J58-1 power plant. This makes it the fastest general and crew aircraft in history, but not only that, it is a fundamental link in military aviation. The State Route 71 was one of the first aircraft with stealth technology to reduce radar signature. While it was not completely stealthy and has a significant radar cross-section, it was a revolutionary design. According to the US, its speed even allowed it to beat surface-to-air missiles by simply accelerating to full throttle, although that is debatable. It was commissioned on December 22, 1964, just in time for a Cold War Christmas. The Blackbird continued to operate until 1998, accounting for a total of 19 aircraft lost, although none of them due to combat actions. It left behind not only a deafening sonic boom, but multiple records that still stand today. That's why it's the fastest military aircraft in history, and, in fact, this was inspiration for the main scene of Top Gun's Dark Star. Don't think it's mere coincidence. That's all. Subscribe and activate that powerful notification feature so you don't miss any new video.